Well, it's day 5 of MSI with coverage brought to you by all of you. I'm joined right now by Jojo after an unfortunate loss to CFO that will send MCOY out of the tournament. Jojo, I do want to ask you questions about EU and all these things, but first let's talk a little bit about the game. Unfortunately, you guys were not able to close it out. Ended up being a 1-3 match. What do you think went wrong today?
I think before the match, we weren't as prepared as usual. I could feel it. I think the whole team could feel it. I'm not sure exactly why, because I think we trained very hard for these important moments and these crucial moments, and we're used to the pressure. So I think we do very well under the pressure when it matters, but I feel like today it just felt like we didn't have the same confidence we usually do, which is weird because even against BLG, we should have went to Game 5 and everyone was super confident in that series. So I'm not sure exactly what was the reason. I think it's different for everybody, so I have to think on that. Same as myself, I think I didn't show up today because my preparation was off today. I was also feeling not my usual form, and I wasn't sure why, so I have to really reflect on what happened. So I think that's on the side of they were playing very aggressive, Hongq was playing very aggressive, and I was caught off guard. I think those two together kind of made me not show up, and I think the team together, we just didn't play as a team. So yeah, we really have to think about why it happened and how to not make it happen again.
Yeah. I know that unfortunately you weren't able to get the win, but you did get to play in front of a Canadian audience a couple times. What was that experience like for you? Did it feel any different than playing on other stages you've been on?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely very nice. I saw some people wearing my jersey and like shouting my name, so of course I'm grateful for everything. And I mean, I love the experience here and in Toronto with my team before this, so I got to show them around the bits of Canada. I wish we could stay in Canada a bit longer with the full team, but
yeah.
You know, it happens.
Yeah, unfortunately, I know you'll be traveling soon. What did you get to do in Toronto? You said you got to show them around?
Yeah, we boot camped in Toronto before Vancouver. We have like a Toronto office, so we just boot camped there, and we went out to downtown. We went to restaurants. We just walked around downtown, all this stuff. Ate at some pretty nice restaurants, so I just got to see some of Toronto.
Yeah. All right, switching gears a little bit. This is the first time you and I have talked since you ended up going to LEC. What was behind the major decision to go to LEC?
I mean, I had pretty good LTA offers, but I mean, the LEC offer was also very nice, and when I talked to Koi, they were very passionate. The whole fan base was very passionate, the owners were very passionate, and I thought moving to Europe would just be the most fun, honestly, and the best for my career. So I think it just made sense at that moment to go to Europe. Yeah.
One of the things that I found interesting about the whole situation is that I think for a while some of the LEC fans were like, I don't know about Jojo, and then you ended up making it here as the first seed with MCOY. So was there any part of you that like relished that, since there were a lot of people who were kind of doubters in the beginning?
Yeah, I think winter split I wasn't playing my normal self, so I mean it was understood. I just wasn't playing well. In spring split, I think I really stepped up. The team really stepped up. We won the whole thing. I was also doing very well in this MSI against the top team. So yeah, I really have to think about what happened today, because before the game too, it felt off. So yeah, it really sucks because I think we could have such a good showing this tournament, but it had to end like this, you know.
How do you think you compare to the LEC laners, especially urban laners, especially since you said you felt like you were doing pretty well here?
I mean, of course, going to international, you're always going to verse the best players from every region. So, of course, if I'm versing Chovy, Knights, all these top mid laners, of course, they're going to be better than LTA or LEC. It's just international. It's the highest competition. So, yeah, you always get to verse the best and just get to learn from them. So, it's always a very good experience. So, I really learned a lot from this MSI so far.
How do you think you do against the LEC mid laners? Like, I don't know if you currently think you're like the best mid laner in Europe, or if it's like you and Caps, or where your head is at on all that.
Yeah, I think it depends on the day. I think depending on the day, it could be me or Caps. And even Vladdy, when he shows up, he really shows up. So I think depending on the day, it could be either three of us. I would say Caps is, of course, the greatest Western mid of all time. I think obviously it sucks what happened to G2, but he's still a very good player. So yeah, I would say the top three is us, and then there's like a big gap, and then it's any other mid. So I think any mid from all three of us can show up.
I know a lot of North American fans are going to be curious about your experience in the LEC. How does it compare to the LCS? And we can say LCS because that's where you were playing previously.
I mean, in the LCS, I mean, it's in LA, of course. There's so much to do in LA. The weather's very nice, so there's a lot of things to do with your team or in the downtime. And LEC is in Germany. It's in Berlin. There's not too much in Berlin, but that's also a good thing at the same time because you have nothing to do but league. So I would say the transition wasn't very different. I would say, at least for the culture. I would just say, the food in Berlin is obviously not good, but we have a very good chef, so that's fine. Like, that solves the problem. The weather in winter is pretty cold, but it's like Canada, so it's not really too much of a big difference. It kind of reminds me of Toronto, to be honest. So it's not a huge. It wasn't a huge change for me.
How about the practice environment? Like, I don't know if you feel like solo queue is dramatically different. Are you able to grow a lot more as a player in Europe in a way that you can't in North America?
Yeah, I mean, I talked about it a lot. I think Europe for sure is better to improve because the solo queue is so much better. I think the bottom teams and the academy teams are much better than NA, but NA, the top teams are very good. So I think in NA, it's the top teams are very good, and NA EU is just competing at the top of the Western teams, but the NA solo queue, and then after the top teams, it goes down a lot. So yeah, I would say if you want to improve and play solo queue, EU is of course better, but just team-wise at the top, it's pretty identical.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of conversation after this event about NA versus EU and who's stronger and all this type of stuff. You're in the unique position of having played in both regions and coming to this international event to compete. Where is your head at in terms of who is stronger right now, North America or Europe?
Yeah, I mean,
especially
going
at the top.
Before this tournament, I would say NA and the EU top teams are identical, and then after that, the solo queue is better in the bottom teams, but FlyQuest just 3-0 G2.
Yeah.
So I have to say the best Western team has to be FlyQuest. I think we have a really good shot of beating them, and we were doing really well in scrims against them, so I really wanted to verse them, but we couldn't verse them, and we lost today, so we won't be able to, maybe at EWC. So right now, after the MSI, I'd have to say, of course, FlyQuest is the best because they 3-0 G2. So yeah.
Was there any part of you that wanted C9 to be able to make it, or do you wish that there was a second slot? Because I feel like the C9 versus Jojo matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I really wanted to verse C9. It would be pretty iconic, the match, I think.
Yeah.
Also, FlyQuest was good too.
Yeah.
Because I think versing FlyQuest would be very iconic too. So I just wanted to verse either an A team, but we got on the opposite side of the bracket, so it sucks.
Yeah, it's too bad. All right, well, is there anything you want to say to any of the fans out there?
Yeah, I mean, thank you to all the fans still supporting me and from NA. I mean, it sucks that we lost today, but we do really have so much potential, so we'll show our best for Worlds, and I hope you guys keep supporting us.
Thank you so much, Jojo, for the interview. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things MSI right here on my YouTube channel. You know, I get to visit big arenas like this quite often. The esports life is filled with glamour as you travel to new cities and all this stuff, but it's also a lot of work. And that's great, but it does tire me out. And sometimes, I think it would also be nice to not just be in a big arena, but maybe also on a beach, sipping a nice drink as a cool breeze washes over you. You can imagine it right now. And that's what I got to do recently, because I went on an awesome trip down to Puerto Vallarta by Enchanted Travel. They hooked me up because they are big League esports fans, previously TSM fans. I didn't hold that against them. We're all kind of recovering, you know? But either way, they sent me on this trip because they reached out and they said, hey, we're fans of your work and we think it'd be cool to partner with you. And unlike a lot of the major companies that reach out to me, this is a family travel agency in Nebraska. And so it took me a little bit to figure out what to do, but we landed on the idea that they'd send me on a trip and I would get to tell you about what it was like working with them. And by the way, it was awesome. Enchanted Travel prioritizes customer service above all else. They worked with me to figure out the types of places I wanted to visit, what I was looking for, and then gave me a couple of different options to help me choose from those. And they will never send you on a trip to a resort or location that they have not been to previously, which is really great. Because unlike just going to a website and filtering through a bunch of different options, you get a chance to work with somebody who is very familiar with the property and can tell you exactly what to do. And it's start to finish. They help you book the plane, they help you book anything that you need to get to the resort. Once you land, they help you book the resort, and you can always call them instead of calling some faceless organization online. And what you might be thinking is like, oh, travel agency, there's gonna be all these extra fees, it's so much cheaper to book online. You're wrong, actually, because I thought that, and it's completely untrue, because what they do is they make their money by working with the resorts themselves. So you're not paying extra fees, you're not paying any kind of premium working with them. So all I'm saying is, look, I know we live in a world where you can just go online, you can book stuff through like a credit card company or through, I don't know, a travel website or something like that. But just when you're thinking about going on vacation, give them a try. There's a link in the description below. It's neat to work with a group that also are League of Legends fans, and Josh over there was super cool. And if you mention my name, they will hook you up with a little gift as well if you do make your booking through them. So give them a try. Let's all, work together as League esports fans. That's where we're at these days,